Well, you know, every project has negatives and positives. What do you see as the biggest negatives of high-speed rail?
I think that would be that there is a misunderstanding about what the project is. We have no high-speed rail projects in the United States, so we don't have the familiarity. So it's our job as legislators and the authorities' job to educate people and come to consensus. One of the things that I've done as the chair of the Assembly Agriculture Committee is bring the ag community together with the High-Speed Rail Authority to look at their list of concerns that they have and to look at the wish list that I asked them to put together so that we can start to find a viable path for high-speed rail that at the same time protects our most important resource, which is ag land in the Central Valley.
You know, one quick question. You recently talked about a great train robbery. What were you referring to? We've only got about 15 seconds.
Yes. In the Senate Budget Committee, Senator Simitian from the Bay Area is requesting that we utilize the money to upgrade Caltrain, and to make it legal with Prop 1A, we could run one high-speed train through the area and then stop.
I guess you have some concerns with that. Well, thank you very much for being here, Assemblymember Galgiani. When we come back, we'll discuss the federal commitment to California's high-speed rail system. They have concerns about the federal budget deficit and how it will impact California's high-speed rail. That conversation in a moment. This is the MADDY Report. For high-speed rail to pencil out, projections are that the federal government will have to help for about $17 to $19 billion to build out the system. Right now, the federal government is committed to about 20% of that amount. How likely is it that high-speed rail will receive all the federal funding that it's counting on? We have two Valley congressmen here today to discuss that, Congressman Jeff Denham and Congressman Jim Costa. Welcome to you both.
It's good to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. Congressman Denham, as a state senator, you supported high-speed rail. You say you still do. But you recently wrote an editorial stating that you support a bill by Congressman Devin Nunes that any federal money currently earmarked for high-speed rail should instead go to fixing Highway 99. Fresno Mayor Ashley Swearingen responded that, quote, "I don't think we should take our eye off the ball of pursuing high-speed rail with everything we've got," unquote. Is this proposal taking our eye off the ball?
No. First of all, we need jobs right here in our community. And stimulus dollars were meant to be for shovel-ready projects. Highway 99, whether we get high-speed rail or not, Highway 99 has to get fixed for goods movement. So this just utilizes current dollars in fixing Highway 99 until the high-speed rail actually comes out with a business plan to show the community, to show the state, to show the federal government how this makes sense.
You know, Mayor Swearingen also said that, quote, "I think our congressional delegation should be focused on streamlining the federal permitting process for high-speed rail in California." Do you agree with that? And is there anything happening in that regard?
I absolutely agree. In fact, I'm carrying a bill right now that will streamline the process so that we don't go through the environmental process 2 times with greater litigation and greater expense. So streamlining it is something that we can certainly do. And the governor, as well as the president, at many times in the past, have waived regulations to be able to get some of these projects done not only quickly but less expensive. And so we would ask the president to do the same here.
Do you think we're going to have bipartisan support for something like that?
You know, the bill that I'm carrying right now already has bipartisan support, and I think that's something we need. We've got to work together for the greater good of the valley.
Okay. Well, Congressman Costa, some have criticized high-speed rail as a boondoggle, a train to nowhere. You're the original author of the measure that created the High-Speed Rail Authority.
Correct.
What is your response?
Well, I resent being called being from nowhere or going to somewhere. I live in Fresno, California, and I'm very proud of the people in this valley. So a lot of that criticism, I think, frankly, is irresponsible. The valley too often gets forgotten in terms of getting our appropriate amount of tax dollars that we send to Washington back here in our valley. And some of this recent criticism from the Bay Area and Southern California is nothing more than an attempt to grab the money and spend it there for electrification of Caltrains or for...
That's already happening, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Attempt has already been made.
Yes, that attempt's been made, as well as to do grade quarter separation in the Southern California area. Let's be clear about this, and I support funding for 99, and I will continue to try to make that a federal project. Frankly, it's a state highway, not a federal highway. However, this money is specifically put for high-speed rail. That's what the Congress provided the $8 billion for and that the President signed. If we don't want to spend it on high-speed rail, we can take the same course of action that Wisconsin, Ohio, and Florida took. They wanted to spend it elsewhere. The president said, fine, there are a lot of other folks that want to build high-speed rail corridors in their country. That's the choice. And I think we need to be clear about that.
Okay, well, the Valley delegation seems to be split along partisan lines on high-speed rail, present company excluded. How is that going to impact the future viability of high-speed rail in the Valley?
Well, I think that, first of all, the president wants to be, as a part of his legacy, high-speed rail corridors across the country, just as the interstate highway system is part of President Eisenhower's legacy, as it rightly is. These systems will take decades to build, just as it took decades to build our interstate highway system. You don't build a freeway overnight, you build it in segments, and that's how we'll build an 800-mile high-speed rail system here in California. But there has to be commitments both at the federal and the state level for the private sector to provide the investment. And if we continue to jockey around here or play political games with this, the private sector is going to say, well, gee, maybe they're not serious about doing this. And so this year, there's going to be a federal reauthorization. Congressman Denham, we used to be senators, is on the Transportation Committee. That reauthorization of the Transportation Act, I hope it will happen. It was supposed to happen in the last Congress. And the president's proposed that there be a continuous segment of funding in future transportation authorizations for high-speed rail around the corridor.
Great. Well, thank you.
Around the country, excuse me.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I'd like to thank Congressman Jeff Denham and Congressman Jim Costa, as well as Assemblymember Kathleen Galgiani, Professor David Brownstone from UC Irvine, and all of our guests for joining us. If you want to keep up to date with local politics and policy, you can sign up for our daily newsletter, the MADDY Daily, by logging onto our website. That's maddyinstitute.org. This has been the MADDY Report. Thanks for joining us.